What's up, everybody? This is Christian Brindle. Welcome back to another episode and another edition of the Everything Medicare Podcast. This is episode 84. I'm your host, Christian Brindle, where every single week I bring you a podcast where I discuss your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, and everything that has to do with that golden age we like to call retirement. And the last 30 days or so, to all of you that are weekly listeners, if this is your first time listening, welcome. To all of you weekly listeners, though, we've been doing a lot of interviews the last 30 days or so with various people in the various walks of life in the insurance industry, and we love doing that. I love giving you guys an opportunity to hear the perspective of somebody that's different than maybe my own. That being said, I've wanted to preface some things by just reminding people that just because I have someone come on my podcast and just because, they share an opinion on something, it doesn't mean I share that opinion. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I don't agree with every single thing that every single guest of mine discusses on this podcast. So if you didn't hear it come out of my mouth, don't assume that I stand by it or I stand for it or I agree with it or whatever. Just wanted to make sure that I was reminding all of you about that. The purpose of the podcast when we do an interview like that is to bring someone in to share opinions and perspectives that may be different than mine, because I understand that when you listen to me week after week after week after week, you might get a little tired of hearing just me specifically. But I know a lot of you do listen for me, and I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate all of you who have been listening since the beginning. And today we have an episode where it is me doing what made this podcast popular in the first place, and that's just riffing about different kind of topics and giving my opinion and giving my perspective. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that, I can't believe that I didn't know about it sooner, and that is Pillpack. If for those of you who don't know what Pillpack is is Amazon's, Amazon, the company trying to take over the world right now, that, owns everything, that wants to, disrupt every industry, be involved in every single industry, and they're doing not a too shabby job at it at that. Pillpack is Amazon's mail order pharmacy. Okay, so how does Pillpack work? Well, Pillpack, folks, I actually recently just learned about, I knew about it to a certain extent, but it wasn't something that I knew a whole lot about. I knew that, it was Amazon's mail order pharmacy, but I didn't know if it had anything specifically that made it different than, another mail order pharmacy, or, if it gave any specific discounts, or if it was a discount program, or if they took insurance or anything like that. So I started to look into it. I took a little time to research it and investigate it, and I think I know enough about it to share my opinion. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about what Pillpack is. Okay, Pillpack is, from what I've been able to gather, a mail order pharmacy, a lot of them. So what makes them different? Well, I'll tell you what I was able to learn about through my studies and my research and my investigations about how their program works. So Pillpack is something where it's a mail order pharmacy. So if you want to get your medications through the mail, let's say it's an inconvenience for you to be able to pick up your medications at the pharmacy. And this is an issue that I see with a lot of people. Now, there's a lot of Medicare Advantage plans and a lot of Medicare Part D plans, if you have a Medicare supplement, that, they do mail order programs typically at a 90-day supply. And there's more and more carriers nowadays that will give them to you for free at a 90-day supply if it's a generic, anything that they consider a generic, I should say, being a Tier 1 or a Tier 2, which is the categories that Medicare drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans in general categorize medications. They categorize them based on tiers. Tier 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. The lower the tier, the lower your copay, et cetera, et cetera. And so in the Medicare world, you have tier 1s and 2s, which are your preferred generics being tier 1 and non-preferred generics being tier 2. Now, something could be a generic of a brand name, and an insurance company in the Medicare world could still classify it in their eyes as a tier 3. So even though it's technically a generic of another brand name, it can still be considered a brand name in the eyes of the insurance company. So please keep that in mind. But basically, there's a lot of programs that, give you either tremendous discounts or they give them to you for free on their generic medications. Anything that's a generic medication of yours at a 90-day supply. But they typically don't do it at a 30-day supply. I've seen some situations where people don't take a medication more than as needed. They don't want a 90-day supply because it lasts them forever and ever and ever. Going to the pharmacy might be a bit of an inconvenience to them. That's the situation where I see Pillpack being valuable. Okay, so here's how Pillpack works. It's a mail-order pharmacy, like I said 1 billion times now. But Pillpack, folks, is something that I think is kind of unique. I know there's not the only company that does this, but basically they will ship medications every 30 days if someone wants them to do. They don't necessarily are bound to 90 days or anything like that. From what I was able to tell, I actually called Pillpack and talked to somebody, and the person I talked to said they accept every Medicare Part D plan in the United States. Now, whether that's true or not, don't quote me on that, but that's what I was told. So it's very impressive because if that is true, they work with every single insurance when in the Medicare world, which is huge for people. I've worked with people in the past that the specific drug plan they want to do covers their prescriptions better than anybody else. Let's say they don't have means of transportation or they have health issues and it's difficult for them to get to the pharmacy, and they need something to be through mail order, and let's say, they can't find a mail order pharmacy. Let's say their particular plan doesn't have a strong one. They want to find one that takes the insurance. Well, maybe, there's not too many options with that. This is a nice option for that, okay, Pillpack. They do it every 30 days. Of course, like any other mail order pharmacy, they don't charge anything to ship the medications to you. And if what I was told was accurate, they will accept every single Medicare Part D plan in the United States. So if that's the case, they really just take all networks, that wouldn't really surprise me, because if you're Amazon, your job in this world is to disrupt industries. And it looks like one thing they're trying to do is disrupt the mail industry. Amazon, you got to remember, folks, Amazon started as a book company. People could buy books online. And, of course, they grew to where you can get, everything in the world online, but their whole model is having it shipped to you. So who better to enter the mail order pharmacy space industry and come out with a service that could probably disrupt and put out of business a lot of the other mail order companies. And that's what Amazon does. They're destroying retailers. They're just a disruptive company. And I don't know what your opinion about it is. I don't necessarily think it's a good or a bad thing. I think it just happens. It's always happened throughout history. Things change, they adapt, they evolve in certain aspects and certain things, and it's just life. It just is the way it is, It's progression in a certain extent. But basically, most mail order pharmacies are not as big to the scale of, Pillpack's parent company, Amazon, that's backing them. So they've got, if assuming what I was told was accurate, if they really do take every single Medicare Part D plan, they basically have gone out of the way to eliminate the network issue, or the preferred, non-preferred pharmacy issue, and be in the network with every Part D carrier, and that's a huge convenience for folks, if that is true. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just basing it off what I was told. But if that is true, like I said, that's a huge convenience for people, because the biggest problem is with plans that don't have a very wide variety of preferred pharmacies you can go to. This gives people an option that want to use the mail order. And I believe having it come every 30 days, if you like, opposed to 90 days, some people really want that. They really benefit from that. Now, as far as, will you get any discounts with Pillpack? Well, I wouldn't say so. Because basically you'd pay the same copay that you would going to any other pharmacy. But what they're providing you is the same thing that you can get at the Walmarts of the world, at the CVS's of the world, at the Walgreens of the world, for convenience. They will offer it at a convenient factor, and so many times, a lot of you listening, and I know everybody that listens to this is relatively tech savvy, because podcasts are typically something that's looked at by people, by the world. For those people on Medicare probably don't listen to, or they don't know how to do it. But that is insanely not true, because baby boomers know how to do podcasts and listen to podcasts and find podcasts just as well as anybody else. I can be the judge of that, because our audience is baby boomers and up. Okay? But there's a convenience factor to it, opposed to having it shipped to you and not having to go to the store. It's the same type of argument. It's the same type of battle that retailers are facing right now. And I believe, if you haven't heard of Pillpack to this point, it will become a much more sought after and recognizable name as the years go on. I believe that it's something, from my ability to understand, I believe that Pillpack is probably offering convenience, easy to use. It seems to have great reviews. A lot of people seem to like it that have used it, from what I've been able to tell. They just are offering a much easier conclusion than any other mail order pharmacy that I'm aware of. Now, obviously, if let's say you're on a plan that you're getting your medications for free at a 90-day supply, and your generics, I should say, and you're using your particular insurance company's mail order pharmacy, obviously that's not going to continue going through Pillpack. I'm not recommending Pillpack. I'm not saying that you should use Pillpack, but from a convenience standpoint, it's an option that you have available to you. Now, obviously, if you're getting them through your particular insurance company, and let's say you're getting them for free or anything like that, you want to make sure if you're getting them for free, I would not change anything, because Pillpack's not going to match that. And if you're not getting them for free, match the cost, because a lot of times getting them directly through the insurance company and their mail order pharmacy, you get some kind of a discount. So I still think that Pillpack has that to deal with, and they might be able to give discounts at some point in time. We're just going to have to watch how they develop. But I believe that it's a very, very interesting and technologically sound and convenient and very just new age way for people to get their medications. And I think the every 30 days thing is quite interesting, because I know some mail order pharmacies do that, but not all do. And if you really don't have to worry about an insurance thing, if that is accurate, I think that it solves a lot of problems that a lot of mail order pharmacies have. Stay with me into segment 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. This is segment 2 of this week's Everything Medicare Podcast. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Pillpack, and another reason why I believe, it seems to me anyway, like it's a very innovative company. So Pillpack was only purchased by Amazon in 2018. So last year. Okay, so before that, they were operating on their own. I'm going to read you a little bit of the bio off of their website, because it's very interesting to me. So TJ Parker was the founder of Pillpack. Okay, he was a second-generation pharmacist. Spent most of his life watching people struggle with managing their medications. Dozens of pill bottles, weekly trips to the pharmacy, and time-consuming DIY organization. While their pharmacist had limited resources to help, the entire system was complicated, confusing, and did little to support health or wellness. TJ had one foot in the stagnant world of pharmacy and one foot in the fast-paced realm of design and technology, and he always thought there would be a better way. While finishing pharmacy school, TJ met Elliot Cohen through MIT's Hacking Medicine. They started Pillpack to prove that managing medications could actually be simple. They recognized that fixing pharmacy requires actually building a better pharmacy. Who knew? Until consumers had an alternative to traditional retail pharmacy, no app or smart pill box could truly affect the problem. After making it their mission to challenge traditional retail pharmacies, TJ and Elliot focused first on helping the people with the toughest problem, the 30 million U.S. adults, that's 1 in 10, who take more than 5 prescription medications a day, and designed a solution around the customer's needs. From the beginning, Pillpack's mission has been to deliver and delight customers with their experience. They believe that simple, convenient service empowers regular people to take medications correctly and achieve better overall wellness. So what I gather out of that, folks, another thing too that they mention is their customer service. They have ability to, chat with people through text messages, calls, emails. They just are very reachable, seem to have a very good customer service. When I called them, I didn't really have any wait, and it was in the middle of the day. So what I gather from that, folks, is this has been kind of an innovative, up-and-coming company created by 2 young guys. It says that 2015, they were named in the Forbes 30 under 30 in healthcare. So these are young guys under the age of 30. And they started to get a lot of traction, started to build up a head of steam as far as their influence and impact on the pharmacy world. And Amazon took notice, and Amazon came and bought them out, but they're still keeping these guys in positions of power and running the company, as far as I can tell. It's just Amazon's backing them. So from what that tells me, folks, is I believe I'm going to tread carefully here, because I know this isn't a business podcast, but I believe that how businesses are ran dramatically impact your insurance, your level of care, and the healthcare industry. Okay, so this has some relevance into what we're talking about here. With companies, how they're ran, it dramatically is affected by who's running the company, number one, and number two, the difficulty of the company to run. If it's an innovative company, if we have like a company like a Tesla who's, projected to dramatically impact the auto industry coming soon with their electric cars more and more every year, and no one really does it like them, that's probably a very difficult company to run. The person that runs the company is Elon Musk, and he's an engineer, incredibly intelligent person. You probably couldn't put me in there and run that company, okay? You have a company like an Uber, or something like that, who's, they kind of came in and they almost eradicated the taxi industry. That's an innovative company. They do a lot of different things. Now they do food deliveries, things like that. Companies like that, you need to believe in the ownership on where it's going to go. Now, Pillpack is something that I believe that, from everything I've been able to read about their founders, who Amazon has kept in power. Now, Amazon bought the company because they saw progress and they believed in the company a year ago. And they bought them and didn't want to mess with anything they were doing. They wanted to keep everything running as they were, and they just wanted to be a part of it. And that tells me a lot, because Amazon's a very, very smart company. I 100% believe that if you look at their track record. Why does this matter? Because when you're keeping an eye on where things are going, that directly impacts you in your life. Okay, and you will hear the name Pillpack more, in my opinion, in the coming years. If this is your first time hearing about Pillpack, then you will hear about it more and more and more as time comes, because I think that this is an innovative company that's going to change the way pharmacies are ran, and they're looking to kind of just change the entire model with it. Because right now the model with pharmacies is you go to the pharmacy, you drop off a prescription, you leave, you come back, you pick up your prescription, or the doctor just sends it over. Regardless, you pick up your prescription, you pay your copay, you're done, and it's fine. It's not that complicated, I don't believe, but for some people it is. If there's an easier way where you don't even have to leave your home, and you don't have to worry about if the pharmacy takes your insurance, or you don't have to worry about if it's cheaper through one pharmacy or another, that is a solution to a complex problem. And they can do it 30 days at a time, 90 days at a time, whatever you need. This is something that's incredibly interesting and something to keep an eye on, because I believe an innovative company is not something that's just going to stay what it is now. The things that I've mentioned on this podcast are tremendously interesting to me, and I'm sure to a lot of you that are listening that maybe utilize mail order pharmacies quite a bit. They're interesting now, but what's more interesting is what they're going to become going forward, as far as how much benefit can you get by getting their prescriptions from Pillpack. Right now, it's a convenience thing, but not necessarily maybe the cheapest thing. It'll probably be the same price you're paying at the pharmacy now, or if you use your particular Part D plan insurance company's mail order pharmacy, it'll probably be more to go through them. So it's something I'm saying you should jump over to the Pillpack bandwagon and get all your prescriptions through there no matter what. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they solve a lot of problems now, is from a convenience standpoint. For some people, it might be better for them to use Pillpack now, but where they're going long term, it could solve a lot of issues for a lot of you listening with your medications and through the mail order. So we have to keep an eye on it to what they become and how much better their service becomes, with Amazon now backing them for only a year now. I mean, it's not a lot. That's not a lot of time at all for the two of them to intertwine and Amazon to implement new ideas and funding into the company. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. I think it's something that long term, if you end up using it down the road, it may end up being a very, very good thing for you. And it could turn into something that everybody uses, and it's just a no-brainer not to use it, We're just going to have to keep an eye on it and see. But something very, very interesting I wanted to talk to you about with Pillpack. Stick with me into segment 3. What is up, everybody? This is segment 3 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Thanks for sticking with us all the way to the end here. So I really, really appreciate you listening, and I appreciate all of my loyal listeners who listen week after week. You're just so amazing. You're so fantastic. We appreciate you so much, and it's because of you that we're getting our message out to so many people. A couple weeks back, a week or two ago, I can't even remember to be specifically, we passed over 10,000 downloads for this podcast, and now we're about almost 10,500 downloads. And so we're so excited to be able to reach as many people as possible and just give them a resource. I mean, I've always looked at this podcast, folks, like a library, to where any question you could possibly have when it comes to your Medicare plan, you can come back, you can reference an episode about it, and you'll have an answer about it. It's also something where you can be kept up to date on Medicare changes and things that are going on, and how you can know what to look for, what not to look for, what to listen to and what not to listen to. And it's just really an unbiased thing from someone like myself who's grown up around the industry, if you know my story, and someone who's worked in it for many, many, many years, working with so many people. There's really nothing that I haven't seen, folks. Very, very few things that you'll ever hear about that I haven't dealt with my own clients and customers, with my own organization, my corporation, my company. So, thank you. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you and just remind you that I am still doing my book giveaway. If you'd like a copy of my book, Medicare Guidance, Picking the Plan for You, I'm giving it away for free this month. All you have to do to get it is go to Apple Podcasts. If you don't know how to get there, if you have an iPhone, you can find it on there. It's automatically on every single iPhone. It's an app, purple app called Podcasts. If you don't have an iPhone and you have an Android, or you're listening on a computer or anything like that, you can go to Google and type in the Everything Medicare Podcast, Apple Podcast, and you can find it right there very easily. Leave us a 5-star review, comment what you like about the podcast, take a picture of it, and email it to me. You can take a picture with your phone and email it that way. Email it to me at ChristianB, ChristianB, B as in boy, ChristianB at xmission.com. X, then just mission, MISSION.com. ChristianB at xmission.com. And also, please include in that email your name. Doesn't have to be last name even, just first name, so I know who to address it to. And a good mailing address where we can send the book to, and I will send it to you free, anywhere in the United States of America that you are. And that's just my way of saying thank you for helping us reach 10,000 downloads and just reaching more and more people with our message. We can't thank you enough for everything that you do. You're the ones that keep this podcast going and keep this gravy train rolling. And so thank you for that. And I have an announcement to make. I've been saying the last couple of weeks that we're going to be picking up another insurance license to work in a 4th state. I've been talking about how we work with people in Utah, Idaho, and Florida, which we do, we always will, but now we're adding the lovely, beautiful state of Oregon to the equation. So I, Christian Brindle, as well as my company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services Incorporated, will hold an Oregon license. I applied for it a few days ago. It takes a few days for them to approve it. Give us about a week or two to get our licenses in order, and then we will be able to represent all of the insurance companies in that area in no time. So now we will be able to help people in Oregon. All right? If you are on Medicare and you're just not sure if you're on the best plan, or if you are about to be on Medicare, you're about to turn 65, no matter what your situation is, we would like to help you. I would like to help you. And there's no cost, no obligation of any kind. If nothing else, even if you're already on Medicare, it's never such a bad idea to just make sure that you're on the best thing for you, and that way you can sleep better at night just knowing that. And my organization and my company, if this is your first time listening, we work with every single insurance company in the industry, all the big name companies, I should say. There might be 1 or 2 local companies we don't carry in a particular market, but we have a lot of local ones as well. And our job is to sort through the options, find the best available plan that fits your needs specifically based on your needs and your preferences. You know, what medications you take, what doctors you see if we're going with a plan that has a network like an Advantage plan. What do you need covered? What don't you need covered? What benefits do you require? We're going to help you find that for you. So as always, we can work with you if you're in Utah, where I live, Florida, Idaho, and coming in the next week to 2 weeks, Oregon. Oregon will be our number 4 state. So that was our big announcement. I had been dropping hints about it coming on past episodes. Folks, thank you so much for listening. As always, thank you for everything you do and being a great listener. Follow us on social media. Christian Brindle is my personal page. You can follow me on. I don't want to say my fan page, but it is my fan page, Christian Brindle on Facebook, or you can follow my company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services, on Facebook, Instagram at Christian Brindle, Twitter, Christian Brindle, YouTube, where we've started to put out more educational YouTube Medicare videos, as well as this podcast being broadcast on it each and every day that it goes up on YouTube. And we take all the ads out as well, because let's face it, they're not paying me to put the ads on when we put it on YouTube. We get a little bit of sponsorship money when you hear an ad. we take that off on YouTube. So if you'd like to listen to the podcast without the ads, go watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Christian Brindle. Look for the emoji face of me when I started. That's what I looked like when I started, more or less, in a cartoon version. Follow us on your favorite social media, folks, for updated information weekly. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.